Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's December 26th, 2022. It's Monday afternoon. It's about 3 p.m. here in the Eastern time zone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin today. So hopefully you guys are ready for a great week up ahead of us. Before I get into all of this, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and this is just my opinion on the market. So I'm going to go ahead and move right on into the chart here. I'm looking at the Tether perpetual contract on Bybit. So we had some discussions on the Discord earlier today about the differences between one exchange versus another, and this is the Bybit USDT perpetual contract, meaning that it is a futures contract, but it doesn't expire. That's why it's called perpetual, because it never expires. It just continues, which is also why there is funding attached to it. Usually when there is funding attached to something, it means that there is no settlement at the end of a period, because the period never ends. It's perpetual. So that's one of the things there I just kind of wanted to point out. So I'm looking at the USDT trading pair on the Bybit exchange. And of course, using the perpetual contract. All right, so what I want to do here today, I want to focus a bit on what you've been staring at your chart here as I've been talking. We've been going through a period of liquidity hunting, stop hunting, you call them raids. Really, it's just a search for liquidity, looking for stops for the most part. And we've been in this range ever since we popped up into it back on the 19th of December. So we were in a range, though we were in a bit of a lower range, which was roughly this range right here. And we had very similar things that happened back here as well. We had some liquidity hunts down here. We had a little bit up here. We also had some liquidity hunting up here, a little one down here. And of course we broke down, and then we ripped up, and we got into yet another range that we've really been in ever since. We did have one period of time where we did drop significantly. We actually went below the low of this range that we were in, and we eventually did bounce back up into this same range that was defined here. So now that we're here, everybody's trying to look at this, trying to make a determination on what's going to happen next. And there's one thing that I'm going to tell you guys. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, hey, we're going to go up here, and then like a day later, I'm not going to come and say, hey, we're going to go all the way down here. No, this is a pattern that is tradable. And it is arguably let me make this a little smaller so I don't do that. All right. It's arguably a wedge, right? And we've been talking about this in the Discord, and we did have a little bit of disagreement yesterday when we were looking through this. And I want to talk about what that is. I'm going to come back to this chart, but I'm going to go to a clean chart here for just a moment. I'm going to go to Bitcoin, and I'm going to do it on the Tether on Binance here for a moment. If there's anything on here, I'm just going to go ahead and remove it. You can see I've got a P&L on here I've had here for a while because I've wanted to get long in this area, and it's right at the 618. The target there was 19,150. I doubt we're going to get that high, but I do have to recognize it is possible that we do get up there. But for the time being, I'm going to remove this because what I want to actually focus on is the hourly chart, and I do want to kind of dive into this just a little bit because, again, this is something that that we've been talking about. This wedge right here. Right, so we've got that, and then we've also got this right here. We're defining, a compression on this. So every spike to the upside has gotten shallower, or rather lower, and every spike to the downside has also gotten shallower as well. So I did a little post on Twitter yesterday or the day before, and I basically identified that we're inside of a range that we're looking for liquidity, and really your best play is to be shorting the top side of the range and longing the bottom side of the range. And that's exactly what we did when we got up here to about 16,900. I said, all right, well, this looks like a decent place to short. So, a good number of us went short up here. we closed it out at 16,800, and I had some bids that were layered down here. I got 2 of my 4 bids filled, and we're seeing a little bit of upside here. We're not playing with anything that's like really high leverage, because that's really dumb when you're in a range like this, because eventually it's going to explode in one direction or the other. But a couple things that I noticed here. All right, so first off, we do have some significant lows that we've identified right here. And watching this trend line, we are creating basically a higher low right here. But what is our indicator doing? Okay, so our indicator is also identifying, and from this low right here, we've got a bit of we've got a bit of hidden bullish divergence potentially that is creating here. I wouldn't exactly say that it's confirmed yet, but it's pretty close to confirming. Our hourly wave here has crossed up, which is bullish, after seeing some hidden bullish divergence. And again, if we're in this wedge, the disagreement that we had. Let me just kind of outline this. The disagreement that we had was, is this an A, B, C, D, E that we're in and we're going down? I had a bit of a disagreement with that theory, mostly because this trend line here doesn't agree with the low that we had back here. It didn't look all that great, at least for the time being. And the other thing too, we did have a pretty clear 5-wave move down. All right, so let me just go ahead and outline this move down. From up here, we have 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and then 5. So we had a pretty clear 5-wave move down. And even here, you can see a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 waves down here. And it's possible that we've got the 1 here and we've got the 2 here to create a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave 3. Wherever this 1, 2 actually ends up, it's not as important to me right now. What does matter is that it does look like we came down in 5 waves. It does not look like we came down in 3 waves. What we had right here was very indicative of a wave 4, which usually stretches out a lot longer than what a wave 2 would do. And from this, having a 5-wave move down and then an A, B, C, D, E, it didn't really jive well for me. Mixed with this hidden bullish divergence that we're starting to see here on the hourly, it does sort of lend to the theory here that what we've got is, rather from right here, we've got an A, a B, a C, a D, and then we've got the E, which potentially could be in. So I'm going to change the color of this one because I actually prefer this one a little bit better. I'm going to remove this guy. So again, what I'm thinking here is we've got an A, a B, the C would be right here, the D would be right here, and the E would be right here. And it could be that we do go a little bit lower for this wave E. Sometimes wave E doesn't get as deep as you would expect, because a lot of people are wanting to trade the lower part, this lower diagonal, and a wave E sometimes will trick traders and won't get to that target. And it could be that that's what's going on right here. So pulling this back up here, from these lows then, what do we have going up into this top right here? Well, it's very possible that we've got from down here, we've got a little 1 here, a 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, and then a 4, and then a 5. So that would be right there. And I guess this 4 would probably be right here. And I could go down into a lower time frame to make sure that I am counting that correctly. Let me just do that and zoom out. So yeah, this actually works out really well. A nice leading diagonal into a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here into the 3. So let me get that subdivision for you. I don't usually pay too much attention to subdivision because it just gets messy. 3, 4, and then a 5, of course, on a lower degree. So this really works out. So we've got 3, and then we've got this 4 being a little A, B, C into the 4, and then a sharp move up into wave 5. So we've got 5 waves up after a 5-wave down. And so from there, we're looking at a series of 3s. If this is going to be a wedge, what we're really expecting to see, and I'm just going to use ABCs just to keep things simple, right? So we've got a little A, B, C. That works. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here into the C. From up here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, B, C up there into wave B. And then from up here, we've got A, B, C to complete that. B could be over there. Then we've got A, B, C into wave here. And then from here, A, B, C. And then from there, A, B, C. So far, the subdivision of this does actually work out pretty well. So we are long from down here below 16,800. So we're long from down here. But now, okay, where's our target, right? Where would your target naturally be? And I'm going to zoom out to the hourly. And I'm going to go back to the Bybit chart. And we're gonna look at that. BTT USD T.P. That's going to be our tethered perpetual contract here. This is what we're looking at, where I was looking at the liquidity hunting. I've got the channel here that we've been keeping an eye on for, we were watching this channel all the way from back here where it was still in its infancy and, getting short up there at 18,366. I mean, it really kind of worked out. And, by the way, when we were back here, I was talking about us collapsing. And, there are a lot of people that were not really on board with that. And, we did see a really sharp move down. And again, from up here, as we've discussed, a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move down. And then this A, and then A, B, C, D, E, right into a B. And then we go up for wave C. Now, where's wave C going to go? I want to talk about two zones here that I'm paying attention to. And I'm going to basically start by taking a fib pull from the top here, going all the way down here to the bottom. And we're seeing resistance at the 382, but I believe we're going to get through the 382. And I think it's very possible that we get up here to the 618, which is at about 17,500. Okay, we've got a key level, which I've already outlined here. I've been watching this level right here for a while now, and it happens to line up very, very well with that 618, which these are the areas that you would really be looking to, looking to target for some kind of an internal retracement. And all right, so we've got that. So let's go ahead and take our trend-based fib extension tool. I'm going to take this from the bottom, dominant pivot low, to the dominant pivot high. I'm going to go back to the lowest pullback, which is right there. And I'm going to get my template here. So I'm going to get my 618, 100, 1236. So we've got a target there at 17,432. We've got another one up here at 17,645. We're also going to see some resistance right here at about 17,100. But let me go ahead and zoom in some more. And we're going to try and make it so this doesn't look so messy. But hopefully you guys all can understand and appreciate where all of these different trend lines are coming from. If we take this to the bottom of that potential wave E, which is right there, right, our 100 obviously has moved up a little bit. The 123.6 really lines up pretty well with that 786. So if we do see a really sharp move to the upside, it's very possible that we do see 17,900, maybe even almost as high as 18,000 before we see a rejection. And again, just in case you're keeping track, I am watching for a rejection sometime on New Year's Eve, and it's probably going to happen at about 6 p.m. So right here, 1800, right here in this range is really where I'm expecting there to be a significant top, and likely we're going to see a rejection from there. So again, if we're going to see that, then what I would expect, we're probably going to see this a little 1, 2, retest this trend line here. We see this wave 3, right? And again, one of two things is going to happen here. Either we're going to stop at the 50, we're going to reject, and we're going to get to the 618, or we're going to get up here to the 618. We're going to see that rejection to bounce here at the 50, and then we move up, and again, potentially as high as 17,900 going into New Year's Eve. And again, this is a single directional trade. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, like, hey, it's possible that we do this or that, right? Certainly it's possible that we go down from here, but what I'm focusing on is the upside right now. And if you're on our Discord, I've been talking about Bitcoin dominance for a while as well. So let's just go ahead and shift over there and take a look at Bitcoin dominance, because this is also something that is pretty important. So, we've been watching this same consolidation phase in the dominance that we've also seen inside of Bitcoin, although this is starting back on the 16th, right, rather than that Wednesday, which was right around here. So let me just go ahead and move on out. We've, again, been watching this and just seeing that, hey, we are consolidating here at the previous high, right, which was back here, right? So we've got a very similar consolidation zone here that we saw back here on basically mid to late October. So we're in that same consolidation phase, but this time we are more than likely going to break up and out of this. How high are we going to go? That is a great question. It's possible that over the next month we do see Bitcoin dominance actually increase significantly, though we're going to see some rejection probably right here. I do see an area here at about 43% where we're likely going to see a little bit of a rejection, right? Although what I will also say is don't expect an alt season to come anytime soon. I would not expect that to come anytime soon. Bitcoin dominance really has to kick it up a lot before we're going to see anything significant like an alt season that we saw back here, starting back here on January 1st of 2021, going into May of 2021. This is where we saw the alt season starting at the very beginning of 2021, where Bitcoin dominance was dropping significantly. And we're basically at that same level that we were back here in May of 2021. So again, I would expect dominance in Bitcoin to continue to increase over the next several weeks. And again, this could potentially go into February, March, even April, right? So again, in this time period, Bitcoin's price is likely going to appreciate in value. There's going to be some price negotiation along the way. Likely there's going to be a significant pullback along the way as well. But also keep in mind that if Bitcoin dominance decreases, if Bitcoin's price decreases, that doesn't mean that dominance decreases as well. Because if altcoins are losing value more against Bitcoin, well, the Bitcoin's dominance is actually going to go up. So again, be very cautious with alts right now, especially the two that I have been talking about on the Discord for at least a couple weeks now. We've been watching a couple in particular that I'm really frothy to short, but I'm just kind of hanging on. I'm waiting, being a little patient, because again, I do think Bitcoin's price is going to increase over the next couple weeks, but then I believe we're going to get that opportunity to short. But for right now, again, the trend right now is moving up ever so slightly. And that's BTT/USDT.P, the Bybit, right? Again, we've been watching this, watching our liquidity hunting, and wait for this area, this time period to hit, right? Because again, I do believe we're going to see a bit of a rejection in that time period, just like we have seen around New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, in years past. There's going to be a time period where we are going to see a significant pullback. And again, looking at this hourly wave, it looks pretty good, at least for the short term. If we see a move up into our targets before New Year's, well, then, we're basically going to be looking for this to potentially hit back here, looking for Thursday or Friday even for this top to hit. This also does correlate with the stock market, which I'm expecting there to be a little bit of a pullback tomorrow, and then continuation to the upside to finish a corrective move going into Thursday, Friday next week, which is going to be, the last trading days of the year. And, we're going to be watching that pretty closely as time goes by as well. We had some really great trades in the stock market last week. We had, a couple 200% trades, several that went over 100%. And yeah, we'd love to have you on our Discord if you're not there, where we do these day trades almost every single day. We always aim to have more winners than we have losers, and we did that pretty well last week. I think our win rate was, let me go ahead and find it here. Our win rate last week was, let's see here. We took 25 day trades and we won 16 of them. The best return was 200%. Our average win percentage was 20%. And yeah, so we'd love to have you on our Discord if you're interested in any of that with stock trading as well. All right, so we have our path for the next couple days. So hopefully this helped you. If this did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share. We'd love to have you in the Discord. You can find all of that information on BitDoctor.org, and there's also a link in the video description if you'd like to have access to the free area on the Discord. And last but not least, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, and a good evening. Good afternoon, Todd. Hope you're doing well.